these behaviors that we have to look at, we have identified them in 5 fundamental characters. And we use the bird metaphor because we have actually done lots of study and research on this to find out what's the best way to explain them. We have had, as we said, many years of experience in trying to talk about these kind of concepts in a very serious and very kind of sober way, and we felt we really need to find ways to actually talk about it creatively. The first of these characters is called the woodpecker, and pretty much is the kind of people we call them decisive, impatient, and to the point. And if you look at them, they tend to be noisy. Not that they're loud, but they're noisy. People who are very much, not that they thrive on conflict, but they really like it. When it happens, they like to deal with it right head on, and they tend to be very single-minded, very tenacious, and pretty much they'll use whatever.
Nabil, you're taking a little bit too much time here. I need to take over.
Come on.
Just let me, I think if I just get right to the point for them.
Here are these woodpeckers. They actually, just get their business, other people's business. Let me finish my stuff and I'll continue with this. Thank you very much. They tend to be utilitarian, meaning they'll do whatever in their power to get what they need. So a woodpecker does not always be mean and rude to you, but sometimes they actually may be even nice to you, but for a purpose, because they want something out of you. It's like they smile, come here, come here. Oh, hi, how are you? Good, and they'll do this. So sometimes using woodpecker behavior is appropriate, but learn this, that chances are the person on the receiving end of your behavior when using woodpecker is not going to be happy with you. If you want to run a popularity contest, I would recommend very much, don't use this. But if you try to be sometimes a leader or a manager, sometimes you may have a need to do this. So you have somebody who's actually an owl and you have a problem with them because they do this. We have to talk about this and this and this, and you're thinking, oh gracious, this is 6 hours later, we're still talking. So the challenge for them really is that they are seen as people who want as much information as possible, and they'll kind of pretty much take them, not just forever, but take them a longer time than the rest of these behaviors in actually resolving conflict. Owls ask too many questions. So people think, what do you want from me? The people actually perceive it as being very manipulative. That they really have something in their mind when they want to go somewhere, but they won't tell you. An owl wants to have 2 winners. And sometime in organizational life we know to have 2 winners, either you have to have lots of money or you have to have lots of time. An ostrich says, conflict? What conflict? What are you talking about? I have no problems. And that instinctive response of a good ostrich. Heat resistant because these are the people who know when things are getting bad and when they get out of the way. They actually leave. I know people who actually physically, when the conflict is happening around them, they actually physically walk away. But be mindful with ostriches. If you push them too much, you know what they'll do to you? They will kick you. A hummingbird wants quick resolution to issues. They are wonderful at finding a solution. If you negotiate for a living, this is a good skill to have. Your chances are, if you always use this behavior, what happens, you're always going to have a conflict, reoccur again and again, because hummingbirds do not resolve conflict completely. They only partially resolve the conflict for expediency. Woodpeckers do not like other woodpeckers because somebody has to win, it is better be me. And I do not like other people to challenge me and argue with me. They don't like other woodpeckers. They surely despise owls. To a woodpecker, think of this now. To a woodpecker, an owl is a blabbermouth, talks too much, doesn't get to the point, takes forever. They're very suspicious of hummingbirds because hummingbirds manipulate them. They get them to say things they don't want to say. So they're seriously, they're very cautious around hummingbirds. They love parakeets because the woodpecker says jump and the parakeet says how high. Owls do not like woodpeckers because woodpeckers are stubborn, narrow-minded, and really annoying. They deal actually very well with hummingbirds because, and even if you see sometimes from your scores, these are kind of interchangeable between owl and hummingbird. That could be second, first for some people. And those two actually interact well together. They deal actually fine with parakeets, because parakeets are nice and pleasant, and they'll do this, they'll talk to them. The nemesis of the owl is the ostrich, because they have an absolutely opposite needs. Hummingbirds are cocky. They can handle anybody. Because to them, conflict is really a game. You know, they love manipulating the woodpecker. Because his woodpecker comes and says, it must be done this way. This is the only way it can be done. The hummingbird says, you know, your idea could be potentially, possibly the best idea ever.